Okay. There, I see myself now. Okay. All right. Okay, let me just get these comments or these pins pinned to profile. Just going to update the Facebook. Where are we at here? Gary was live. I am live now. Yeah, we're going into the second topic now. Comments up? Okay. Sorry, guys. Waiting for Facebook to load. Gary was live. Where's the new? Okay, there's the new. All right, good. Okay, let me just make one more adjustment here. And we'll get into our next topic. I appreciate everyone's patience. It's really strange. It's never happened before. So we'll get this show on the road in just a moment. This is normally the stuff that you don't see me doing. This is like when the intro is rolling, I'm updating and pinning the posts and getting all this stuff structured on all the other social platforms. So when people ask, well, why do you have such a long intro? Well, it's because I'm actually doing things in the background that you don't really need to see. And I like the music, you know? All right. Gary Franchi is live now. We're going to pin that to my Facebook. Pin. And it should be there. Yes. Okay. All right. Looks like everything's back in action. Man, we lost a lot of viewers though, man. We were on a roll. We had a lot of people watching in that last segment. Okay, checking on the comments. I don't see any comments rolling on this studio version at all. Okay, I'll refresh this page. We had about $25 in super chats in that last video segment. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, I'm seeing the comments now. Everything seems to be working. Good. All right, we're going to move into our next topic. The super chats, I've lost them, but I did see quite a few come through. I apologize, I cannot read them tonight, but if you want to send in some other ones, we'll make sure we get those read. Thank you, Cindy, for reposting the stream. Melody, Deep State working overtime. Hit the like button. Absolutely. Solar flare. I don't know. All right, let's get into our next topic, Brian. Wait, let me get this loaded too. Man, everything. Okay, Gavin Newsom. We got this. All right, the shutdown. All right. Okay. Brian, you can mute yourself too. The 43-day nightmare might end in the next few hours. Democrats are breaking ranks, Republicans have the votes, and the president has his pen ready. After shutting down the government for 15 times to stop Trump's agenda, the Democrat wall just cracked wide open. So here's what's happening right now. You see, American families have suffered for 43 days because Democrats thought they could use the shutdown as a weapon. Troops without paychecks, travelers stranded at airports, federal workers wondering how to feed their families, small businesses destroyed, all because Democrats voted 15 times to keep America closed, while Republicans voted 15 times to reopen. But tonight something shifted. AOC is now attacking Schumer publicly. 8 Democrat senators are defecting, and the White House is preparing for an emergency signing. If the shutdown ends tonight, it proves Democrats can't hold their own coalition together when Americans are suffering. And if it doesn't, thousands more families are going to face financial ruin. And the stakes could not be higher, and every single minute counts. So as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect because we've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. Waiting for normal is not a plan. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Now, nobody knows what 2026 brings, but in an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and yours. When you're with family this holiday season, remember the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit today. Nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want a shot at those 10-ounce silver holiday coins for stocking stuffers this year, call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Now, Treasury Secretary Bissett just exposed the real reason for the shutdown. You see, Democrats couldn't stop Trump in court, couldn't stop him with media attacks, they couldn't assassinate him, so they shut down the government as their last desperate move. But now their own members are revolting. Hakeem Jeffries is scrambling with last-minute amendments, seen as Anderson Cooper is trying to spin the narrative, and Speaker Johnson just announced he believes the votes are there. The Democrat coalition is fracturing in real time, and we're watching it live. Let's listen to Speaker Johnson.
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to come out and say that we believe the long national nightmare will be over tonight. It was completely and utterly foolish and pointless in the end, as we said all along. I just want to apologize to any Americans who are out there who still have flight cancellations or delays today. I want to apologize to the many American families who were made to go hungry over the last several weeks, our troops and other federal employees who are wondering where their next paycheck would come from. All of that's on the Democrats. Just never forget, they voted 15 times between the House and the Senate to close your government. And the Republicans tried every single day of the shutdown to open it. And we voted 15 times to do that. They have a lot to answer for. And I just want to say that we're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen. And we're sorry that it took this long. So Republicans are going to deliver for the people. We're ready to get back to our legislative agenda. We have a very aggressive calendar for the remainder of this year. There'll be some long days and nights here, some long working weeks, but we will get this thing back on track. So thank you all. Stay tuned for more tonight.
Stay tuned for more tonight. And of course, Democrats getting some more bad news, this time from the Gavin Newsom front. Gavin Newsom, this just in 4 hours ago, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff just arrested by the FBI and charged with bank fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States, which include funneling campaign money for personal use. Here is the official press release from the Department of Justice. California political consultant, former public official, charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and obstruct justice, false statements, and tax crimes. Bad news for Gavin Newsom. Yeah, the Democrats just can't win. Political consultant Dana Williamson, 53, of Carmichael, was charged by a federal grand jury with conspiracy to commit bank wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States and obstruct justice, subscribing to false tax returns, and making false statements. U.S. Attorney Eric Grant announced the 23-count indictment was unsealed following Williamson's arrest this morning. This is a crucial step in an ongoing political corruption investigation that began more than 3 years ago, said U.S. Attorney Grant. As always, the U.S. Attorney's Office will continue to work tirelessly with our law enforcement. 3 years they've been investigating Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff. Take that, a little cherry on top, as we can certainly take this win with the government reopening. Here's the press secretary, our cameras earlier today, capturing Caroline Leavitt slamming the Democrats' shutdown, the longest in history.
Over the course, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have missed their paychecks. Tens of billions in wages and benefits were withheld, impacting vulnerable families. Millions of low-income Americans missed their SNAP benefits. Nearly 20,000 flights at airports across the country were delayed due to staffing shortages, causing Americans to miss family events, vacations, and work obligations. According to Airlines for America, an estimated 5.2 million travelers passengers have had their flights disrupted over the course of the Democrat shutdown. And our economy has lost billions and billions of dollars in economic activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period. It's hard to recap all of this without asking a simple question: why? Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown. And the answer to that question is pure partisan politics. The Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43.
And now we have breaking news. The House has officially reopened the federal government, voting to approve a resolution that made it out of the Senate without bending to Schumer's demands. House voting. Just now, Congressman Byron Donalds, 1 minute ago, House GOP passed the Senate amendment H.R. 5371 by a vote of 222 to 209 to reopen. It will now head to POTUS' desk to be signed into law. For 43 days, Schumer leveraged his pain, and he failed.
Independent Senator and
the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
And after nearly 43 days, Congress is poised to reopen the federal government. The Senate passed the government funding bill 60-40 on Monday. 1 independent senator and 7 Democrats broke with the party to support the bill. If passed by the House and signed by President Trump, the bill would fund the government through January 30th next year.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted. The yeas and nays are ordered.
So it sounds like it's got to go back over to the House side. They have to do an emergency vote, and then it's going to go to President Trump's desk. And of course, throughout it all, the Democrats started the shutdown demanding taxpayer-funded health care for illegal aliens. Trump and the GOP said no to forcing Americans to pay. They kept the shutdown going for weeks to boost election turnout. The clean CR was available on day one. Here's the press secretary earlier today before the vote.
The Democrats, they started this shutdown with a ridiculous demand to force taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits to illegal aliens who broke into our country. Even after it was clear President Trump and Republicans would never force American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegals. In fact, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill fixed that problem. The Democrats kept dragging this reckless government shutdown on for weeks longer to boost their turnout in an election, perhaps one might guess. That's because the Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base, who only care about attacking President Trump, even if it means hurting innocent Americans in our country. The Democrats' weakness and their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks and inflicted massive pain onto the American public. But let's be clear. The clean CR being voted on today in the House of Representatives that will lead to the reopening of the federal government is what President Trump and Republicans have supported from day one. Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight.
It looks like it now will occur. A late-night emergency session to reopen the government. Federal workforce cuts continue successfully despite 6,000 positions reversed in deal. Trump's bureaucracy reduction continues. Administration eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse across government. Priority was reopening government for American workers. Mission accomplished. Let's go back to the press room.
Total. When
First, on the government shutdown, the shutdown deal reverses the administration's RIPs, and it also prohibits more from happening until the end of January. I'm wondering if the president had input on this element of the deal, and if he's at all disappointed that's going to reverse the downsizing of the federal government that they did during the shutdown.
I mean, look, I think it's about 6,000 workers total. When you look at that in comparison to the reduction in the federal workforce that this administration has done since January to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and to reduce the size of our federal bureaucracy, we've done a lot of great work on that front, and we will continue to. But obviously, the president's main priority was to reopen the federal government and get people back to work, and that's what this deal accomplishes.
First, on the government shutdown.
Let's keep going here. This is all breaking. This is all developing in real time. Here's where AOC turned on Chuck Schumer.
This is about, I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there's no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing. And I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about
House Speaker the House Speaker announcing the Democrat shutdown would officially end, and of course it has. This is all developing. Here's Secretary Bessent. We inherited this affordability mess.
Working on bringing. So when you look at affordability now and you go grocery shopping, for example, what products are you working on bringing down? We know that certain products are down, certain up. Like, for example, coffee. The president says, I'm going to lower the rates, tariff rates on Brazil and Vietnam and other places to try to bring the price of coffee down. What else are you doing?
Well, it's tough to do a lot of specific things, but I can tell you, Brian, you're going to see some substantial announcements over the next couple of days in terms of things we don't grow here in the United States. You know, coffee being one of them. Bananas, other fruits, things like that. So that will bring the prices down very quickly. And Brian,
President Trump not just reopening government, making America affordable again. Continuing, here is Anderson Cooper, totally on brand. The House lawmakers taking their first steps to reopen government. Americans brace for lingering pain from the shutdown as President Trump tries to say the pain's not real. I would expect nothing less from Anderson Cooper.
Right now, a House committee is getting ready to take the first key vote on the bill to end the government shutdown. By this time tomorrow night, it could be on its way to the president's desk. Could be because a lot depends on enough House members returning from their districts by then to pass it. And that depends on whether they can catch a flight back to Washington, with airlines still trimming schedules and air traffic controllers who haven't been paid in weeks still in short supply. Even if those lawmakers can get flights, there's no guarantee that air travel will go back to normal right away or anytime soon.
Even if we see the government reopen this week, could we see delays for Thanksgiving travel?
So it depends on, are we going to have air traffic controllers come into work?
Well, that's the Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy today. Here's the president on Fox last night promising the air traffic controllers who did stay on the job through the shutdown money, which he admits he doesn't have.
I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace. I always get the money from someplace regardless. It doesn't matter.
Well, it may matter to the men and women with bills to pay and families to support who showed up to do very difficult and demanding jobs and got paid nothing for it for weeks. They've already been hurt by the shutdown, so have people who rely on food assistance. The president went so far as to ask the Supreme Court to let them go hungry. So
that's CNN for you. So much happening today. Big news. But now the shutdown is finally over. That's right. Breaking news just hit. It's official. The House just gave final passage to reopen the government. 222 to 209. The bill is literally racing to President Trump's desk right now. That's when it happens, when it hits the desk. No Obamacare credits snuck in because we held the line. And by the stroke of 47's pen, the Schumer shutdown ends tonight. Now, history was just made, all right? 222 to 209. Those numbers represent total Democrat defeat. They tried to sneak in Obamacare funding, blocked. They tried to break Trump by breaking America. They failed. 43 days of suffering, 15 votes to hurt American families, and for what? Complete humiliation. The Schumer shutdown, yes, Schumer's shutdown now dies tonight when President Trump signs America back to life. Every Democrat who voted to close our government just got exposed. So here is my question for you in the comments. Will you remember those who voted against reopening? Yes or no? Comment below, because when military families get their paychecks, when airports reopen, when America gets back to work, remember who fought to keep us closed and who fought to set us free. Victory tastes sweet. You can celebrate now at our merch shop. It's linked below. Wow, that was... I just looked down at my phone and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We got some breaking news. I had a feeling it was going to happen in the middle of the segment. Thankfully, it did. And we were able to adapt rather quickly to get the information out as soon as it happened, within minutes. So Mike Gibson dropping $4.99. I think that brings us to $30. President Trump's a genius, man. He fired those workers to have something to surrender that he didn't really care about to get the government open. Thank you, Mike, for the $4.99. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. We got some more news on that J6 pipe bomber. It is all coming out. So much commentary, so much to break down. We're going to get to it all right now. A new FBI whistleblower just blew the lid off the January 6th pipe bomb mystery. Software that analyzes walking patterns appears to have identified the bomber. Congress is in open revolt against FBI leadership, and the revelation about who might be involved will shake you to your core. The cover-up is unraveling fast. Now, this isn't just about solving a case. It's about whether we can trust federal law enforcement. When a pipe bomb is planted at the DNC, when the Secret Service somehow misses it in their sweep, when Kamala Harris is inside the building but hides the story for a full year, something stinks. And now we have gate analysis technology that apparently has identified the bomber. And the FBI is silent for now. And Thomas Massie says they're either covering up or grossly incompetent. Now, if this new whistleblower disclosure proves an inside job, if someone in law enforcement planted those bombs, then January 6th wasn't just a protest that got out of hand. It was an orchestrated operation. Every American needs to know. Were those pipe bombs planted to frame Trump supporters? And as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect. We've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. And waiting for normal isn't a plan. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Nobody knows what 2026 brings. But in an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, lasting, and it's yours. When you are with your family this holiday season, remember the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit. Nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want a shot at those 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins for qualified accounts, call 877-646-5347 and tell them Gary Franchi sent you. So here's what makes this all explosive. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino told DOJ officials that progress is being made in ways people can't see yet. Translation, they know who did it, but they're building an airtight case. Meanwhile, the establishment will try to spin any Capitol Police involvement to protect the Bureau. And the timing? Right as a Democrat shutdown collapses and the Clinton files drop. Now, this is not coincidence. Somebody's panicking and whistleblowers are now stepping forward. Here is the DOJ pardon attorney Ed Martin who spoke with the Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino over the weekend, who gave him a very promising update on the pipe bomber situation.
And I am very attorney at the time. That was out of my office, so I live with that. It's an extraordinary thing. I can say that the scope of that problem of J6 is almost mind-boggling. The conduct of the government, the law enforcement, the day, it's unbelievable. But we're in it, and we're in it hard, and we're in it in a lot of different ways. On the pipe bomb, I don't have anything to add except to give you some context. Let me say this: as U.S. Attorney in D.C., I brought people in, and I said, where are we on this? And we had a great FBI agents that had been just changed out to get new agents, and we had prosecutors, and we said we got to redouble, and everybody redoubled, and that's been going on for months. As to the current state of it, I don't have any comment except I talked to Bongino over the weekend, and he said, look, we are in this completely, and it's not off the radar. This is not something that anybody should think is out of the off of anybody, and Dan and I know each other for a long time. To hear him say it, I know exactly what he means, and so I'm confident that we're making progress. Look, I know we're making progress in ways that people can't see yet. I know because I'm in that. But I think on that one too, things are going to play out well. And we got great people now. We got the right people in the right places, and I think you're going to be really confident, Benny, in the coming months and really the coming years. It's going to be a long play on all this stuff, and we got to keep grinding.
And we're going to keep on grinding. In fact, we were hoping to grind today in the White House press briefing room, where we were shocked when the FBI director showed up. And he gave some remarks and then left. Took no questions. And of course, the question on our minds is, are they investigating? What is the status? Do you know the identity? Glenn Beck and Steve Baker all presented the identity of this person based on gait analysis. Kash Patel was in and out faster than you can blink. And we were quite shocked. It was very bizarre, in fact. But we were working to try to get some answers today. Sadly, we did not get any from the White House directly. But of course, as you just saw, Ed Martin has spoke to Bongino. This is all stuff happening in the background about the investigation moving forward. Now, let's continue this investigation. 13 hours ago, the January 6th pipe bomber identified software algorithm analyzes walking parameters may reveal the truth on the true identity. Here is Stitchfield Tonight, Real America's
much of it.
Voice.
A setup. It is one of the most important stories of our time. I'm talking about the J6 cover-up. Specifically, what role did the FBI play? The Capitol Police, the CIA, our own government. It appears to me they were in on much of it. A setup job to sink President Trump in any future run for the presidency. It is a story that is filled with government lies. And now we have more proof that deep state vipers will...
I mean, look at that. They opened the doors. They opened the gates. They antagonized the crowd. They planted the bombs. I mean, the whole thing was a setup from the beginning. And you just heard him say, another effort to try to stop Trump from running again. To set it all up, because they knew that they'd stolen the election. They had it in the bag. Pence was in on it. The whole thing was just tucked away nicely. They needed something else that they could hang around Trump's neck forever. And that's the word we heard forever, is insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. January 6th committee, right? Who can ever forget all that stuff? I mean, think about the level that they went to stop Donald Trump. Going all the way up to the assassination attempts in Miami, Trump Doral, at Butler. It's all connected. It's all the same group working behind the scenes to protect their racket. As we just covered, the Clinton files are all about the drop. Because it all goes back to that deep state cabal of actors who've now all been subpoenaed. Kash, Patel, and Bondi dropping the Clinton files. It's all freaking connected. This is just one more piece of that conspiracy to stop Trump. To make MAGA supporters look like lunatics, that they're planting bombs. It's all just part of one huge, massive plot.
Do anything.
I mean, this is unprecedented in American history. This is a true coup. This is seditious treason. I mean, Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, seditious conspiracy. Really? I think seditious conspiracy belongs to Nancy Pelosi. Seditious conspiracy belongs to Barack Obama, and Brennan, and Comey, and Clapper, Strzok, and Page, Hillary, all of them. They should all be slapped with seditious conspiracy. They should all be put in solitary confinement. After what they did to Stewart, what they did to all those patriots, what they did to Trump, this is unfrickin' real.
To hold on to their unfettered power. Do you remember the 2 pipe bombs that were found outside the DNC and RNC headquarters? The pipe bomb were caught on tape there. It shut down the counting of the Electoral College votes. I always believed it was a phony deal. It was a concocted crime to incriminate MAGA Republicans falsely. Well, The Blaze, along with the Gateway Pundit, is reporting that the J6 pipe bomber could be a former Capitol police officer, now turned CIA security officer. Her name, according to these outlets, is Shawnee Kirkhoff. Blaze investigative reporters claim to have concluded her identity, writing this in The Blaze, quote, a software algorithm that analyzes walking parameters including flexion, knee bend, hip extension, speed, step length, cadence, and variance rated Shawnee Ray Kirkhoff, 31, of Alexandria, Virginia, as a 94% match to the bomb suspect shown on video January 5th, 2021. The veteran analyst who ran the analysis for Blaze News said that based on visual observations the program can struggle with, he personally pegged the match at closer to 98%. Kirkhoff's name, as you can imagine, has since gone viral. So let me be clear. I never believed the bombs were real. You saw Secret Service walking around there.
It's all unraveling, folks. It's all unraveling right now. Now, Walter Kurt, 24 hours ago, posts, it's been several days, and we've still heard absolutely nothing from the FBI on the new J6 pipe bomber story. To pretend as if the story doesn't deserve a comment is completely ridiculous. It's not going away. Well, I do think that we are kind of in a holding pattern. They're trying to get their ducks in a row because everybody knows it's just a matter of time before we get some big news. Alex Jones is predicting that bombshell story that revealed that Capitol police officer was the January 6th pipe bomber will be spun. He says it'll be spun by FBI's Kash Patel to save face for law enforcement. Predicts J6 political prisoner and constitutional lawyer. This is look at this. And we even have Stuart Rhodes. This is 24 hours ago. Speaking of him. What do you look at that? Now it's been believed that yes, they will perhaps spin this, say it was a training exercise. That's what everybody is saying. But man, I want to have some optimism here. I want to have some optimism because we all know how corrupt the FBI was under Comey, under Wray, during the Trump administration, during the Biden administration. And all of the talk of purging the FBI, purging the corruption. I'm putting my faith that we will be able to purge this because these are the tumors that need to be cut out from that era. So while Alex is saying that it'll be spun to save face, Kash Patel can very simply come forward and say, no, we've found it. These are the vestiges of the Biden era. And we have now we're now moving forward to press charges. That's what I'm praying will happen. How can the FBI help us solve the mystery. This is Mike Benz. This is 24 hours ago.
Report isn't entirely confirmed yet. It's early. It just popped over the weekend. But what it looks like is you have somebody at the Secret Service at the table with the sixth investigation.
This is a huge claim. And, what's the quote? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I would like to see the actual, forensic, what's the name of the program that was used to do this gate match? Like, walk us through that, show the math on it, because this is obviously something that, plays to, look, it's very obvious that the pipe bomb was an inside job. To anyone who's studied this for even a half-baked, high on, whatever drug second, it takes about 2 seconds to realize, they shut down the investigation right away. Effectively, they didn't update. They collected 39,000 video files. They only uploaded 4 of them. They never updated the website ever again after September 2021. And it looks like they doctored the footage. They had a 1 frame per second black and white camera outside DNC headquarters. We were just talking about Watergate. Watergate was the break-in to DNC headquarters. You're telling me they learned so little from Watergate that they used a security camera system from the 1980s? The average 7-Eleven has a 30 frame per second camera.
The bomb, by the way, the pipe bomb itself, I never miss an opportunity to talk about the DNC pipe bomb, because if you've seen pictures of this alleged pipe bomb, it literally is like duct tape over a kitchen timer.
And the guy in charge of the FBI at the time was the one who sold fake pipe bombs 3 months earlier in the Whitmer Fednapping case. Stephen D'Antuono.
That's right.
How did they bust them on the Whitmer Fednapping case, where over half of the co-conspirators turned out to be federal assets or informants? It was 2 FBI.
The cancer runs so unbelievably deep. And as all this is happening, the White House responding to the BBC fake news lawsuit coming in, Levitt slamming the BBC as leftist propaganda after they doctored President Trump's January 6th speech. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, that this is all perfect timing. The BBC is apologizing for this, making headlines for this, as all this news, real news about January 6th is dropping.
Dishonest editing.
So the clock is ticking on the Friday deadline by which the BBC must retract and apologise for their malicious edit of the president in the documentary shown last year. The recently resigned Director General of the BBC yesterday described the organisation as the very best of society and blamed the enemies of the BBC for this outcome. Also yesterday, a senior government minister launched a fierce defence of the channel in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people all over the world. So, does the president feel that the network is taking the situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the president and the prime minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the president prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there. You've seen them in their interactions. You've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to the United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago. And this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue. And whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so here's the video. This is the BBC edited video. In case you want to see it, here it is.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. We're going to walk down.
You see that? Talk about deceptive editing. Lawsuit incoming. So what's the game changer? Walking Gate analysis has identified, reportedly, the pipe bomber. The technology exists. The identification has been made. Yet, still nothing from the FBI. Days have passed since the story broke and not a single official response. The silence tells you everything. Either they're trapped between revealing the truth, protecting the narrative, or they're building the case. Now, for 4 years, they used those pipe bombs to paint January 6th as domestic terrorism. Now we learn Kamala was just feet away from one, but never mentioned it because it didn't fit the script. We discovered the FBI might have the bomber's identity, but won't officially reveal it. Now a new whistleblower risks everything to expose the cover-up that goes to the heart of our government. So here's my question. When the pipe bomber is finally revealed, will it prove January 6th was an inside job? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments, because if federal agents planted those bombs to frame Americans, that's not corruption. That's called treason. The truth is coming out whether they like it or not. So stand with us and check out our merch shop. It's linked below. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's go into our next topic. This is the latest Epstein fake news happening. Here is Trump's response. Okay. All right. I'm ready, Brian. Democrats just played their dirtiest card yet, and it blew up right in their faces. After sitting on 23,000 Epstein emails for 4 years, they suddenly leaked them to attack Trump. One problem. The emails actually prove Trump's innocence. The desperation is off the charts. Now, this is about more than failed opposition research. It's about how low Democrats will go to destroy their enemies. They had these Epstein emails throughout Biden's entire presidency. They never released them, never investigated them, never cared about the victims. But now, with their shutdown collapsing and Trump surging, they selectively leak emails trying to create a scandal, except they forgot to check what the emails actually say. 0 emails from Trump, 0 to Trump, 0 evidence of wrongdoing. The supposed victim they tried to use, she already publicly cleared Trump. Meanwhile, they're protecting the real Epstein connections, the politicians and celebrities who actually appear in those documents. So every American should be asking, who are the Democrats really protecting? But as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect, because we've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. Waiting for normal isn't a plan. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Nobody knows what 2026 brings, but in an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting in yours. When you're with family this holiday season, remember, the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit. Nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want a shot at those 10-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts, call 877-646-5347. Now, here is the White House, okay? The White House was actually devastating Democrats selectively leak emails to liberal media to manufacture a fake narrative today. They even redacted the name of Virginia Giuffre, who said Trump did nothing wrong because it killed their story. Meanwhile, the emails showed journalist Michael Wolff advising Epstein on how to manipulate Trump politically. While they attacked Trump with 0 evidence, Ghislaine Maxwell gets custom meals and a puppy in prison. The real scandal isn't what Trump did. It's what Democrats are actually hiding. This is what it was. House Democrats release a 2011 email from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein discussing Trump's time at his house and labeling him the dog that hasn't barked. This is the actual email. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, victim name redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. Right? Spent hours. So they're just basically saying Trump was there with this victim. And it's already in the public record that Virginia Giuffre, in her interactions with Trump, it's not like they were like in a room together privately. They were. That's not the circumstances. Trump was in a function with her. She said he acted like a gentleman. Of course, she's no longer on this earth. 2 years after Trump offered help and information to police, Epstein realized Trump was the dog that didn't bark. In this case, Epstein was most likely angry that Trump didn't enlighten him to the fact that the police were onto him, as if he felt he owned Trump. 2009 records from Epstein investigation, including statements from victims' attorney Brad Edwards, indicate Donald Trump cooperated with authorities during a civil lawsuit phase following Epstein's 2008 Florida plea deal. Edwards, representing multiple Epstein victims, stated in a 2019 interview, Trump was the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's talk," when contacted. Edwards described Trump as helpful, providing details that aided the case, unlike most other Epstein associates who declined to assist. The cooperation occurred amid ongoing scrutiny of Epstein's network. So they're trying to use this email as somehow to destroy Trump. The rape proposed community notes always tell another story. This email was already public. They're trying to treat it as if it wasn't. The email was already public. The unredacted version released in January of 2024 court filings show the name Virginia, referring to Virginia Giuffre, who exonerated Trump via testimony. In the November 25th House release, that name was deliberately redacted and replaced with victim. Isn't that interesting? Just by redacting the name makes it sound even worse. President Trump, 6 hours ago on Rapid Response 47. We're going to get to the White House press room in a moment. Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into this trap. Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics in viciously closing our country while at the same time putting many at risk. And they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. Well, of course, the country is now reopened. The vote has already occurred. Now, here's the moment when it was brought up in the press briefing room. Caroline Levitt destroying the Democrats' smear.
Is that
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Why would they redact the name? There's only one reason: to stir up even more controversy. Here she is The administration released tens of thousands of documents, more than any president. Trump most transparent on Epstein. Let's go back to the press briefing room.
To transparent.
In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
They leaked it specifically so they could switch the narrative immediately after the vote. Now, let's take a look at what Tim Burchett. Democrats, you want to see the truth? Democrats blocking Tim Burchett's motion to bring the Epstein files to an immediate House floor vote. Why would they do that? I thought they want them out. Isn't that the whole point? Tim Burchett's on fire. Will you support releasing the files? He says, I just tried, but Democrats oppose me.
Everybody's going to pull a little.
This upcoming bill to release the Epstein files?
Yeah, that's why I just put a bill up. I just tried to move it ahead because what you're seeing right now is what exactly is going to happen, going to continue happening. Everybody's going to pull little piecemeal portions. Sorry about that. I got to animate. I'm Southern Baptist. They're going to pull portions of it out, and they're going to try to fit their own little narrative. Both sides are going to do it. You all know it. You're all going to feed upon it. Let's just get the dadgum bill out. Let's vote it out, and the Democrats oppose me on it. It's stupid. It's all about politics. It's not about taking care of young ladies who got abused, and we should take care of them. But there's a process in place. The Democrats have had it for 4 years and didn't do a dadgum thing. And you know if Trump was in that thing, Biden, the rest of them, Kamala Harris, I mean, he's the Antichrist to them. They would have already had it out. What do you got?
I was going to ask about health. This upcoming bill.
What does that tell you? They're screaming about releasing the Epstein files, but then they won't even allow the vote to come to the floor, blocking him. Listen to this. Here's more.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent, of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now, here they've had it for 4 years, and they, obviously, if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, let's get it out, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. They blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. And it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Of course not. Of course they're not ashamed. They have no shame. They have no souls. 6 hours ago, Mark Lauder, you want the truth about the Epstein emails or the Dem spin? If you want the truth, watch this. Rob Schmidt. The links that they will go.
Hey guys, big headline this morning about Epstein and Trump and this underage victim that Trump reportedly spent hours with. If anything proves to you just how vile the people that we're dealing with are, how disgusting the media is, and how aligned the Democrat agenda is with the broader mainstream media. This story is everywhere. New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, every cable channel. This is the front page. This is the big top story. and it alleges something absolutely heinous, that Trump spent hours at his house with one of the victims of Epstein, and it just leaves it right there because they just want you to see that headline. Trump spent hours with a victim. Oh, well, what comes into your head when you think about that headline? That's exactly what they want you to do. Here's the problem, and this is how disgusting these people are. They redact the name of the alleged victim, and they did that for a reason, because the name of that victim would blow up their whole story. So they redact that part. Republicans were quick to unmask that redaction. The name is Virginia Giuffre, a young lady who, in depositions and also in her own memoir, a book that she wrote, said that Donald Trump never did anything wrong and was a perfect gentleman the entire time. They conceal that, and now your entire X feed and the media are all just out there alleging, oh, this is the smoking gun. See, he's a pedophile. This is how sick and twisted these people are. They are vile creatures.
You don't hate the media enough. But that's why we exist, to push back on all of this. Here, this is ABC News 12 hours ago. House Democrats released 2011 Epstein email referencing Donald Trump as the dog hasn't barked. Amber speaks up. 2015 email shows journalist Michael Wolff advising Epstein on how to handle Trump. You can hang him in a way that generates a benefit for you or save him generating a debt. Epstein's reply, well, what do you think it should be? Michael Wolff communicated with Jeffrey Epstein on how to manipulate Donald Trump. I think you should let him hang himself. This is what he writes. This is Michael Wolff to Epstein. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win the presidency, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy, has gotten a raw deal, is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. And this is Jeffrey writing back to him and earlier, if I were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Here's CNN's planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards. So Michael Wolff working with Epstein to try to manipulate Donald Trump. 10 hours ago, Democrat Representative Robert Garcia says more Epstein files will be released. Says he received 23,000 documents a few days ago. We just received all these emails, about 23,000. We're going through all of them very carefully. Oh, and we're selectively leaking them to the media. Oh, and then when Burchett tries to bring it to the floor to release them all, they block him. Does any of it make sense? 9 hours ago, the White House responded to the emails from Epstein's estate, say that Trump is the dog that hasn't barked. The Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear Trump. So here's the smoking gun that backfired, the famous dog that hasn't barked email. Democrats thought this phrase implicated Trump, but it actually proves the opposite. If Trump had dirt, he would have barked. He didn't bark because he wasn't involved. Their own evidence proves his innocence, while revealing they sat on these files for years. So think about what just happened. Democrats hoarded Epstein evidence for 4 years under Biden. They protected whoever's really in those files. Then in a panic over their political collapse, they selectively leak emails thinking they could frame Trump. Instead, they proved he's the only major figure who banned Epstein, who never emailed him, who was cleared by his victims. They revealed their own corruption while proving Trump's innocence. So here's my question for you. Should Congress investigate why Democrats hid Epstein evidence for 4 years? Yes or no? Comment below, because if they weaponize Epstein's emails for political gain while protecting the real culprits, they'll do anything. The truth always wins in the end. So show your support at our merch shop. You'll find it linked in the description. Whew. Tamra Jennings coming in with $1.99. Thanks, written on top of a purple heart. Well, thank you, Tamra, for that support. Yeah, we lost a lot of momentum earlier when we lost the stream. That's really bizarre. It's never happened before. I don't know, Brian, maybe put a trouble ticket in and ask them why that happened, just to let them know. YouTube had a hiccup? Yeah. Yeah, it did not happen on any other platform, so it must have just been a YouTube hiccup. So strange. Unless somebody clicked end stream, but that doesn't happen. So weird. Yeah. Okay. All right. Captain Sasquatch coming in with $5. Says, I bet you there's a bunch of them in the upseeing files. That's why 2026 is going to be a year to remember. The upseeing files. Nice. Nice. I see what you did there. All right. Let's rock and roll. The White House just confirmed what Democrats feared most. $2,000 tariff dividend checks are coming to American families. This is not a proposal anymore. The press secretary said they're exploring all legal options to make it happen. The Trump economic revolution just went nuclear. We've got all the details because this announcement changes everything about American politics. Well, Democrats spent 4 years creating inflation, destroying savings. Trump is actually engineering the largest direct wealth transfer to working families in modern history. $2,000 tariff dividends per family. $1,000 investment accounts for every newborn. The largest tax cut ever. Mortgage savings of $3,000 a year. Gas prices plummeting. Drug costs dropping. This is not trickle-down economics. It's a direct injection of wealth into working-class bank accounts. Now, if it all happens, every Democrat argument about Trump hurting workers gets completely obliterated. If it doesn't, millions of families miss out on life-changing relief. The economic battle lines just got redrawn. Now, as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect. We've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. Waiting for normal isn't a plan. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Nobody knows what 2026 brings, but in an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. When you're with family this holiday season, remember the best gift isn't under the tree. It's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit. Nextnewsgold.com. It's linked below. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want a shot at these 10 ounce, 1 ounce silver holiday coins with a qualified account, great stocking stuffer, 877-646-5347 is the number to call. So, Scott Bessent just revealed the master plan. You see, tariffs aren't just protecting American jobs. They're actually funding American families. Every dollar that foreign corporations pay at the border goes straight into your pocket. Combine that with the Trump baby bonuses starting at $1,000 per child, massive tax refunds next year, and the end of the penny because Biden's inflation made it worthless. Democrats are terrified because they know what's coming. Real wage increases that make their entire economic message irrelevant. Here she is at the press briefing room today. The White House commits Trump will deliver $2,000 payments to citizens. Buckle up.
Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. Citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen. And so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And when we have an update, we'll provide one.
The ball is in motion. And now we have this from the press briefing room. Biden's 9% inflation disaster officially exposed. The media now suddenly cares about affordability after ignoring Biden's worst inflation crisis in history.
In modern America, On another matter, I want to address the affordability issue that's received a great deal of media attention this past week, which is ironic because it didn't receive that much attention when Joe Biden was here and inflation was at a record high 9%, the worst inflation crisis in modern American history. And President Trump won a landslide election in part to address the affordability issues created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. And that's exactly what President Trump has done since day one of his administration. Since the first day in office and every day since, the Trump administration has taken aggressive action to fix the Biden-created cost of living issues. The notion that the same Democrats who just shut down the federal government to sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also helped Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9% are now suddenly affordability champions, that notion is completely absurd. And it's something only the liberal media would have the gall to push. But the reality is that President Trump and his administration have done so much to lower prices and increase the economic prosperity of the American people. And this president and his team of amazing economic advisors are going to keep working on this issue every single day. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which will guarantee that next year Americans are going to put more money back into their pockets.
More money back into their pockets. How does that sound to you? I like the sound of it, personally. We got more here. Here's the Treasury Secretary on the new Trump accounts. Every child born retroactively to January 1st, 2025. Wow.
One, but for the next, and then the other thing you're going to see in the middle of the year are these Trump accounts. Every child born retroactively to January 1, but for the next 3 years, is going to get a $1,000 account that's going to be invested in the U.S. stock market. So that's another $1,000 for working families.
So yes.
And then the other thing you're going to see
up, man. We covered this when it first happened, when there were first whispers of it. And I mean, imagine if you have a child that's born, or you have a son or a daughter has a child, and they suddenly have $1,000 in a Trump account for that baby. I mean, that money is going to grow and grow. It's a remarkable idea. Here we have more from the Treasury Secretary 12 hours ago.
I'm also the IRS commissioner. So what I can see is that with the president's signature campaign promises, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, auto deductibility of loans if you buy an American car, Americans didn't change their withholding for 2025.
Right.
So we're going to see substantial refunds for working families at the beginning, in the first quarter of 25. They'll change their withholding at the beginning of the year, and that will be a natural, the real wage growth. So I'm also the IRS commissioner. So what I can see...
Substantial refunds on the way for working families, folks. Everything's about to change. Finally. I mean, we just got to get the housing market on fire. Let's see what else we have here. An affordability crisis. Working class wages. Let's see. Here he is. This is the Treasury Secretary 24 hours ago.
Affordability issue. We inherited an affordability crisis. We have slowed the price increases down, and they are going to continue to slow down, and that real working class wages will go up, and that will address the affordability issue. And, I think this is what Democrats are afraid to do. They've gone to the courts to try to stop President Trump and this great economy. That hasn't worked. They get overruled at SCOTUS. We go to the media, who carries their water. That hasn't worked, so they shut down the government and hurt the economy. Let's keep the economy open, let our policies kick in, and let's see if what I just talked about, let's see if those two lines cross. Costs come down, real wages go up, and then we can have an election next November.
I don't know how anybody can be against this. I mean, how can you be rooting against our own country? But that's what they do in the media. That's what the Democrats are doing just because Orange Man bad. Here's a guy in Florida. He's loving it.
I've seen it in a while. I'm loving it right now. Gas is great. You know, it's been lower than I've seen it in a while.
Florida gas prices are now the lowest they've been since December of 2023. The state average of $2.84 is about 12 cents down from last week and 27 cents lower than this time last year.
I'm loving it right now.
I'm loving it right now. I'm loving it. Energy costs going down. Here is the press secretary again earlier today.
Energy costs. The president has completely unleashed American energy dominance to help bring gasoline prices to the lowest in 5 years, and we expect them to continue to decrease. And it has also lowered energy costs overall. There is more work to do, but again, the president's deregulatory and pro-American energy agenda is absolutely going to continue to drive down prices. This formula worked in the president's first term, and we expect that it's going to work again. And this is key because we know energy costs are the #1 driver of inflation. Again, just look at what Joe Biden did to our energy industry over the past 4 years of his administration, and look at what happened to inflation as a result. Everything became more expensive. To lower prescription drug prices and healthcare costs, the president has been working around the clock on this issue. He is obsessed with negotiating these good deals on behalf of the American people to bring down pharmaceutical costs and drug costs for Americans. And he has done so on a number of fronts. You have seen him discuss that in the Oval Office several times. To fuel small businesses, lower their costs, and incentivize hiring, the Trump administration has already cut 30 unnecessary regulations for every new one on the books, which we know will save employers and small businesses across the country thousands of dollars in regulatory burdens. All of these pro-Trump policies are working, and they will continue to work. Wages are rising at the fastest pace of the start of a presidential administration in 60 years. The cost of the typical new mortgage is down by nearly $3,000 per year. There's much work to do, and this administration will continue to do it. But President Trump has already made great progress in cleaning up the economic disaster that was created by Joe Biden.
A big hat tip to Miles, Kash, our cameraman in the White House today, getting all of this video for you. Here's more on the tariffs. Deliver double American win.
The president had also talked about follow up on the question about the $2,000 payments of tariff revenue. The president had also talked about using tariffs to bring down the national debt. Would this be in lieu of that? Like this is now the new way to maybe to use that tariff revenue?
No, the president put out a statement on this clarifying he wants to do both things with the tariff revenue that he's bringing into this country. Trillions of dollars are expected to continue to pour in. And it's part of the reason that the Supreme Court case is so vital for our country's future, to restore our manufacturing industry in this country, to protect our national security, to continue to allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that, again, are good for our national security. And that revenue can then be used for various reasons, to pay down our debt and also perhaps to give these rebate checks back to Americans, which, again, the White House is exploring the legal options of how we can get that done.
So the press secretary's exact words should be carved in stone. The White House is committed to making that happen. Yes, we're currently exploring all legal options to get that done. That's not political speak. That's a promise. $2,000 from tariffs to your family. Well, Democrats panic about losing their economic narrative forever. You see, Biden gave you 40-year high inflation. Trump's giving you $2,000 checks. Biden made groceries unaffordable. Trump's cutting costs across the board. Biden's policies made pennies cost 37 cents to produce. Trump's getting rid of those too. He's building generational wealth with investment accounts for every baby. Now, this is not complicated. It's a choice between the party that made you poor and the president making you whole. So every family watching tonight will remember who fought to put money in their pocket and who fought to take it out. So here's my question. Will Trump's $2,000 tariff dividends be the final nail in the Democrat Party's coffin? Yes or no? Let's have a conversation in the comments, because when working families get their checks, they'll never forget who delivered, because his signature will be at the bottom of it. Support real economic freedom. Check out our merch shop. It's linked in the description. All right, folks. That is the show. We just witnessed the complete unraveling of every lie that they told you. The Clinton corruption files, they're not conspiracy theories. They're documented crimes. And we're about to see them all drop. This is a big week. Bondi, Kash, Patel, proving the foundation was a global the Clinton Foundation was a global pay-to-play scheme protected by Obama's Justice Department. Sally Yates ordering FBI agents to stand down, for money, bought influence, while whistleblowers were silenced. The protection racket went straight to the Oval Office, and they tried everything they could to stop President Trump. The J6 pipe bomb mystery, well, it is cracking wide open. A new FBI whistleblower has Congress demanding answers, gate analysis software, clearly identifying the bomber at 98%. But still the Bureau is silent. Are they just getting their ducks in a row? I should hope so. I'm optimistic. Now, Kamala Harris, she was only feet away from that bomb, but she hid the story for a year. Why? Because the truth about who planted those devices could actually destroy Pelosi's entire January 6th narrative. Now, the FBI deputy director in the background says progress is happening in ways people can't see yet. Translation, they know something explosive is coming. And the Democrats' Epstein email attack, a total backfire. They said on 23,000 documents for 4 years under Biden, then panic leaked them to smear Trump, just to redirect the narrative on the eve of the government reopening. See, they did one thing. They forgot to check what the emails actually said. 0 from Trump, 0 to Trump. Virginia Giuffre cleared him publicly. The emails show Epstein trying to manipulate Trump, not the other way around. Their smoking gun, it shot blanks. And of course, the government shutdown, it's over. Finally, 43 days of Democrat obstruction just collapsed. AOC turning on Schumer, 8 senators defecting, Mike Johnson declaring the nightmare over. Democrats voted 15 times to keep America closed. Now they're running for cover as their coalition falls apart. Of course, the pen is in the president's hand. And the economic bombshell that changes everything, $2,000 tariff dividend checks are coming. The press secretary confirmed it. They're exploring all legal options to make it happen. And the $1,000 Trump baby bonuses, massive tax cuts, $3,000 in mortgage savings. You've got a wealth revolution Democrats can't stop. This is not trickle down. It's direct deposit to working families. 5 stories, 5 truth bombs, 1 message. The establishment lost. You see, they thought they could bury corruption forever. They thought they could frame January 6th. They thought they could weaponize Epstein. They thought they could break Trump with the shutdown. They thought they could stop American prosperity. Well, they thought wrong. So tonight we prove the truth that always wins. The cover-ups are collapsing, whistleblowers talking, the files are public, the cracks are showing, and the checks are coming. So tell everybody you know what happened here tonight. Share this broadcast. Wake up your neighbors, because when they come for the truth this hard, you know we're over the target. So thank you to everybody who sent in super chats and Rumble rants tonight. Thank you for keeping this truth machine running. Hit that subscribe button. Check out our merch shop. And remember, we're not just reporting news, we are exposing the whole system. This is Gary Franchi on the Raw feed, and we'll see you on the next show, because the truth always wins.